Alright, we're going to show you how to butcher a turtle here. A few simple tools. You'll be able to do this in no time. I'll take a little bit of time, show you how it's done. Start out with a pair of pliers. Need it to hold the feet while you're cutting the feet off. A lot of people that I know will use the pliers to actually grab a hold of the jaw, pull the head out. That's a little too close for comfort for me. I prefer an old fireplace poker. Get that hook right in the maw, the soft of the throat. Give her a yank, she'll come right off. Small, sharp, key here being sharp pocket knife with a fairly stiff blade to do most of your trimming and cutting with. And then you'll need a heavy-duty knife and or a pair of wire cutters to do some of the finer trimming, or the harder trimming I should say. And put that up. Let me get my lab partner Pedro here, and I'm going to show you how this is done. Come on out of there, Pedro. There you go. Yeah, buddy. Come on. There you go. Come on, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Snap that. Snap her on. Well, no matter, contrary to popular belief, turtles are not slow. Especially that neck. That thing is lightning fast on the snap. And the jaws are actually strong enough to take your fingers off, so you got to be careful here. I'm having a little trouble getting Pedro to cooperate. There we go. We got him. Now I know for a fact that these babies can take their head and bring it at least halfway to 2/3 of the way back their shell. I've heard the old timers say they can go all the way to the back. I've not seen it, but I've got no reason to doubt them. Best way to pick them up, if you're handling them, is just get them by the tail and hold them out way away from your body. And here again, get the hook in the soft of the maw. The very front is a solid, sharp jawbone. You don't want to get near it. Several ways you can do this. Lay them on the ground, put one foot on the shell right here. While you're pulling on the poker, cut the head. Cut it right at the back of the skull here. Or, it's better if you have an assistant, but I don't want to lay him on his feet because he can tip his head and let go of the hook. And I don't want that to happen. So what I'll normally do is just hold him over here. Find the back of the skull. Oh! Generally it don't fall off like that. And these things are extremely strong, so you got to be careful. These claws will get you too, just as bad as the jaws will. Yeah, I'm gonna have to lay him down and pull. I can't get him to leave his head out long enough to do anything with it. Yeah, come on, Pedro. Hold still, would you? Don't really like doing this on the ground, but right now I don't have a choice. My knife ain't the sharpest in the world. This was kind of an impromptu thing here, and can't find my sharpening steel. I got it packed up somewhere. And the skin on these little boogers is extremely tough. Trying to hack through the vertebrae here. There we go. That old head will still snap in 2 or 3 days. So you got to be real careful. Okay? Got to be real careful with them. If you bury them, you got to bury them deep so the dogs don't get in them. Oh, I usually let them bleed out for a couple of minutes. Don't have quite the mess to deal with, but I'm going to rush this one just a little bit. All right, we let him bleed out for a minute here. Like I said, these claws are extremely sharp. This guy's going to have reflex action for a couple of days. You start getting a hold of these feet, he's going to draw them in. They're going to be tight. You can grab them with your hand if you want, but I don't recommend it. So I'll get a hold of them with a pair of pliers. Just take the feet off at that first joint. See, look at that. He's drawing his shell across in because he's pulling so hard. And he's trying to get at whatever's bothering him with that foot. So like I say, you got to be careful. Even with no head, they can still put the hurt on you. I wish I could find that sharpening steel. I hate having a dull knife. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my little one here real quick, just to get through the skin. And as far as finding that first knuckle, you know, you just got to play with it a little bit like you did any other animal till you learn where everything is at. Ow, you little dog. That's smarted. Alright, he's not holding still enough for me to see that joint. There she be. Yeah, he's even trying to get me with his tail there. Tail won't hurt you. Oh yeah, I got right on that joint right off the bat. I love it. A little bit of skin there. And like I said, you got to be careful, especially with that head. Can't just leave it around, laying around, especially if you got dogs, small kids. That's the way they're supposed to go. Get that joint right off the bat like that. Just yeah, I didn't get that one. Pedro, you done bled on me. Guess that's how he gets his revenge. I was cutting a little too far back. Right on, right on. Anyway, from here it's pretty much the same as skinning out any other animal. What we're going to do is, got your back shell or your top shell, and then you got your T-shell. Right now what we're going to basically do is pretend that we're going to cut the top shell away from everything. So you find you a good starting point and just start trimming right along the edge of the shell. This is where your small knife comes in really nice. Just kind of turn it right into the shell just like you're filleting him open. Okay, now we're to the T-shell. If you look real close, you'll see a line right here where the two halves of the shell come together. What that is a membrane that actually holds the shell together. And we're going to trim right through that membrane. And sometimes you may have to push just a little bit. And I may actually have to break the bigger knife out on this guy because that membrane's not straight like they usually are. This one's a little bit more of an angle. But generally you get on that membrane and you can slice them right apart. Now this guy's a little older than the average bear too. The size of him, he's probably about 40 years old, I reckon. So he's going to be just a little bit tougher. Yeah. Now we're getting in through that membrane right here. I'm going to turn this just a little bit. Just kind of pop it a little bit if you need to. Try not to go too deep. There's really not any meat right underneath there. The meat is your forelegs, your tail, and your neck. But you don't want to get into the innards and make a mess out of everything if you can avoid it. Piece of grass there. Well, I'm going to take and I'm going to continue around the back side of the shell. Now when you get to the tail, it's usually just a little bit tough right there also. You know, it just looks like skin, but there's some kind of a, not really a tendon, but some type of something there, a sinew or something. It's actually pretty stiff stuff. Come around, trim around the back side up at the neck end. Get up by the feet. Okay, that little membrane on this side is just a little bit more pronounced than it was on the other side, but you can see right here she's actually pretty straight. And feeling it with the knife, you can actually feel the knife going in. Come around and just follow that line. I'm going to have to pop her one time here. Yep. Oh yeah. This is like clockwork, huh? Come in. Alright, we're all the way through that membrane, so we'll go back to just the regular skin here. I'm going to start and right under the skin, just like I know on a deer, you get kind of those other membranes that kind of hold everything together. Turtles are full of them membranes, so don't be surprised to get a handful of them. And he's flexing his tail on me here, making it hard. I believe I'm just about through. Oh yeah, there we go. Right on, right on. Then from here, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just start skinning the skin off of the meat. You see there, we're getting down to the meat here, so I want to be careful. Too good a meat to waste. And here again, just like filleting a fish or skinning any other animal, trim along till you get to the end of everything and you got nothing but meat left. Now if I do this right, when we get done, we're going to have 6 pieces of meat. The outer shell with a pile of guts in the middle of it. We won't even actually have to touch the insides. And every now and then you might actually nick into the meat, but no big deal. It's a tough animal. I hope I wasn't in too far there, sorry. Oh, I could use a knife sharpener. Of course, this little pocket knife has probably seen 20 turtles already this year. Well, okay, maybe not 20, maybe 4 or 5, but as you can see, it's a tough animal. It doesn't take much to dull a knife out. Yeah, there we go. We got her through there now. I'm just going to keep filleting. Yeah, I'm going to have to go to the big boy here. I don't like doing this, but So anyway, you get the gist of what I'm doing here. I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off till I go ahead and finish this front end out. There's no need for you watching this for 20 minutes. Okay, I got the front end done. I've actually started on the back end here a little bit. This guy's drawing his legs in so tight I'm having a hard time. Just keep in mind that he's going to be moving constantly, so you got to be really careful if you're using as sharp a knife as you should be. When you're cutting the tail off, these back ridges, even though I think they're just skin, they may be cartilage, but you cannot cut through them. You've got to go between until you find your vertebrae you need to cut. I've already taken the liberty of trimming around the T-shell here. And was actually starting in on this side. But like I said, he's drawn his legs in so far. I'm having to reach in and push his legs out to get to where I need to trim. And there again, you know, if you're using as sharp a knife as you should be real careful because he is moving constantly. Come on, you dirty dog. Trying to get to a place here where I can punch through and actually start peeling. I had to give up on my little knife. It was just, it's done. You need some serious attention. I really don't like using a big knife. You end up trimming a little bit, but it's just too hard to control. But you do what you got to do. I'm going to keep on trimming my way through here. That should be pretty darn close to the end of that foot. I'm thinking I might be there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on, puppy. Even with no head, they can be really stubborn. Another thing I forgot to mention, you're going to see a lot of these little orange pockets. They're not eggs like they are in fish. That's just their fat. No diseases or nothing. I just cannot get him to leave his legs out. And here's where it gets tricky. When I cut the tail off, I'll usually cut the tail just a couple vertebrae behind the anus, the bunghole. Get it off. When you're trimming the skin, obviously don't trim right down the intestines. Trim off to the side. If I can let him get that far. When I put pressure on that nerve on the inside, he moves his foot right on out, but as soon as I let go, he pulls her right back in. That's part of the reason that it does take a while. Oh, look at that leg go to town even. Pressure on them tails, on that tail and them legs is unbelievable how much force he can still exert. This is definitely where having a second set of hands comes in nice. Alright, when you get here, you pull that T-shell up a little bit. You can see where the meat is at. Just take and flay it right off, no problem. Just trying to give me a little more working room here is all I'm doing. Since he's going to be so stubborn and all. I'm trying to get this done before it gets dark out. When you get to this tail section like this is some extremely tough skin to cut. If you don't want to leave as much tail as I do, you know, that's no problem. But remembering there's only 6 pieces of meat in one of these guys to begin with, and the tail happens to be one of them, I like to get what I can out of them. And when you do the tail, you'll probably end up removing one small layer of meat. I don't know that there's any way to avoid it or not. I've tried and tried, I've not been able to do it. And here comes the helicopters, so I hope, first off, I hope they're not after me. And second off, I hope they don't make too much noise for you here. So I've got to keep going before it gets too dark. guy's got such a layer of fat in him that I'm having a hard time seeing exactly where I need to cut. But here again, you get into the shell, this is all pretty much just fat. Just flay along the inside of the upper shell. And all that membrane and mucal membrane, whatever you want to call it, just all comes right out of there. I don't want to get too far in until I can pry up on the meat to actually put some tension on that, so I don't cut something I don't want to cut. Oh, come on, Bubba. I don't usually just tear like that if I don't have to. There again, don't want to destroy some of the good meat, but this guy's not leaving me any choice. Nope, ain't gonna happen on this side. Hoo-wee. So let me go in and trim some of this, that, and the other. Can't do it. Okay, he's been without a head for what, close to an hour now, and I mean, look at that action. He's still just kicking around everywhere. Like I said, they're one tough critter. Yeah, I'm tired of messing with them, so I may just end up taking the tail off short. Maybe I won't have to. The tail is extremely tough to skin when you get to these little ridges, and you really gotta work them. There we go. Alright, we got one skinless shell, 4 pieces or 6 pieces of meat attached. So here again, I'm going to take, and all I'm going to do is flay this T off of here. Just, it'll take a few minutes of time, and You're not going to get every single speck of meat, but just be careful, get what you can. There's my T-shell. Very little meat left on it. And here's our meat. I'm going to start with the back legs because there is an issue with them that it's kind of hard to figure out. But when you start to cutting and digging and you get down on this is his tail, you get down into the corners, there's a U-shaped bone attached to the upper shell that you either need to get a heavy knife in there and pry it up. And as you can tell, I broke the tip off of my knife doing one. They're that tough. Or get in there with your side cutters and snip the two legs of the U off. And all you got to do is just keep flaying down until you hit it. You'll know when you hit a bone down there. Yep, there it is right there. I'm just going to go ahead and pry mine out. I think I got that one loose. I got to turn him here. The entrails are starting to roll on me a little bit. Well, I'll be darned, I can't find that bone on this one. So I'll just get under the spine and start prying. I don't know if you can hear them bones popping or not, but nope, I didn't get them bones. Not all the way anyhow. Yeah. I think I got them that time. Just go in here and try to trim what little bit of meat and the couple bones that are there. And I'm going to pull up against the stomach lining, start trimming it off. Okay, we got the lining tore away, so basically what we got left here is a couple of intestines, just like you're doing any other animal. Just get in there, get a hold of them, and pull them right on out of there. These sacks of fat I'll normally trim off. Just about got it. Okay, there's an intestine-free tail and back rear leg section. Nice chunk of meat there. And then we're going to do the same thing with the front legs and the neck. The neck generally is easier to go ahead and just twist. Once you get the legs out, just grab the neck and twist it out of there because the vertebrae are attached to the shell. And they can be a little bit of a booger. We'll try to cut this esophagus back a little bit. Right on, right on. Okay. Trim this membrane here. You know, and here's where you get into seeing all your membranes attached to the meat and stuff. I generally try to trim off as much as I can and leave it in the shell. Now this neck meat where it attaches to the shell will actually peel off in layers. So you just go as far as you can until you've hit bone again. Right there's one. Right there is one. Now I'm going to try to trim the entrails from the meat as best I can so I can twist the meat on out of there. Okay. Tag on it. All over my truck. Okay, there's a front leg. Just pulled it out of the socket. She's pretty clean. I'm going to come over here, attempt to do the same. Okay, I've dislodged the shoulder portion. That's all I got left to do. Let's trim it off. And this little bit of meat here come off the neck, no big deal. When I get it in the house and get cleaning it up, I'll trim the rest of this fat and stuff off it. And then you're left with a neck. It's getting dark and I've done butchered this neck, but there's still quite a bit of meat left there. Okay, I've got everything disconnected behind it. You can kind of, when you get there, you'll be able to get down in there with a knife and feel what you got to do, but basically just take it, get it hard, grasp it hard, and just twist. Neck will pop right off of there. You know where it broke. Trim your meat, and there you have your neck. 6 pieces of meat, 1 turtle on the half shell. And if you like saving your shells, look at there. That old heart's still beating. That old heart's still pumping, trying to. If you like saving your shells, you know, go dump your guts wherever in the creek or bury them. Best thing to do is throw your shell on top of an ant mound. Within a week, them ants will have that baby sparkling clean. And basically, that's all there is to it.